it seems to me that the answer to the question, the canoe above laid out, lies in accelerating innovation and productivity, or as you economists would say, total factor productivity in the United States. You would say that. But in any event, this is America's secret sauce. This is what we do best. Entrepreneurial innovation is how we invent the modern parts of the economy and how we get comparative advantages in global competition. It's how we will stay ahead of the Chinese, which I'm increasingly confident we will do with this return to the totalitarianism that we're seeing in Beijing now. But the point is, yes, we do have demographic challenges. I'm with you in thinking that immigration is going to be part of the answer. And I don't think we're going to keep folks out. We never have. It's been a pretty damn leaky policy and situation. And I think we will find a way to get the workers we need through a combination of immigration. Who knows, maybe some natalist policies. But I think, economically speaking, we need to focus on public investment, private investment. And that's something Democrats don't talk about. We always want to spend lots of money. We want to do industrial policy, and we want to do infrastructure. And we've just done a lot of that with Joe Biden, by the way. A lot of smart public investment. But we don't talk as much about private investment. I do want to talk about that because that's actually a bigger driver of innovation. And so we need to attend to that, as particularly on my side of the political aisle. And then secondly, I want to talk about the other great challenge which we see, and that is to spread the prosperity, to spread the innovation and growth more evenly across the landscape, and to create a much more robust system of preparing people who don't have college degrees to get high-paying, high-skilled jobs in this economy that's going to continue to be skill biased, and so that's not going to end. And we're not going to go back and get the old manufacturing economy back, which is not happening. But we can get digital manufacturing, but everybody's going to have higher level skills. We need a system that produces that across the labor force. So first, just on the economic change, well, how are we going to speed up innovation? Well, let's look at where it's already happening. When this, looking at the last century, America's big industrial giants were also the innovation leaders in the global economy. Companies like GM, GE, Eastman Kodak, IBM, you might remember them. They used to dominate the commanding heights of the American economy. They created most of the jobs, but they also were the innovation leaders, created new products that were emulated all over the world. Obviously, manufacturing employment peaked in 1979, and since then it's been a drag on U.S. job growth. Now the tech leadership has moved over to what we call the innovation leadership has moved over to what we call the tech e-commerce sectors, the internet-based economy. It's e-commerce, it's software, it's everything that all those big tech companies that everybody loves to hate does. Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, these are the equivalents to those big industrial giants of the past. They're also our top job creators. And I think that fact has been lost in Washington, where all these populists on both ends of the spectrum want to break them up and severely regulate them. But we looked closely at the BLS statistics here, and the companies in this tech e-commerce space generated more than 1.2 million net new jobs between 2016 and 2020, including the pandemic. They continued their job growth during the pandemic. And that's kind of common sense if you were there and lived through it. What were you all doing during the pandemic? On Amazon, ordering everything you needed, right? Or some other, using some other online service because you couldn't go and do stuff. So that job growth has been a remarkable factor. That's the biggest job growth in the American economy by sector, eclipsing healthcare, which is the next biggest, with about 700,000 new jobs. And the average pay in this sector is about 44% higher than the average pay across the private sector, and 21% higher than manufacturing. So I do ask, my fellow Democrats in Washington, why are we sort of obsessing with the factory economy of old and claiming we can bring it back through a combination of Buy America policies and and industrial policies and maintaining tariffs. We're going to revive the factory economy. We're not. It's going to be, we are going to have a digital manufacturing sector. And we think that it holds great promise for being geographically spread out, a kind of deconcentration of the old industrial model. But that doesn't mean we're going to have the kind of high scale employment in those sectors that we had in the manufacturing, probably not.